Hi, boys and girls. It's Thursday. Teacher Laura here, and we are going to finish the second half of the book, The Polar Bear's Son, an Inuit Tale. And it's retold and illustrated by Lydia Dapkovich. This is the front cover, the spine, and the back cover of the book, boys and girls. Before we move on, we are going to go over the vocabulary words. Ready? Inuit. Remember, Inuit are native people from the Arctic Circle. Inuit. Village. Village is a small community where people live all together. Very small community. Village. Fishing is something that you do for sports or to stay alive because you need something to eat. The Inuit people lived by the ocean, by the sea. And so they had to fish to get their food. That was part of their way of getting their food, and hunt. Polar bear. The little baby polar bears are called cubs. This is a cub, and this is the polar bear mama. Polar bear. Hut. They lived in a hut. The Inuit lady, lived in a hut, in a small hut, and that's where she stayed. She lived there, and remember, huts are made of sticks, stones, whatever they could find. It's a permanent place for them to live. Fur. The Inuit people went out and hunted, and they got their fur so they could stay warm. And jealous. Jealous is a feeling. Sometimes you feel jealous because of a situation that you might be in. You might feel jealous that your sister got something new and you didn't get something new because it wasn't your turn. So you get a little bit jealous. That's a feeling. All right, boys and girls, let's get started. We're going to start to read where we left off. And this is the page where we left off. Here we go. Soon the old woman had plenty of meat and fish to eat, furs to keep her warm and blubber for cooking. And as is the custom of the Inuit, she shared every good catch with the bear and the whole village. Come, called the old woman proudly. There's more than enough for all of us. So she was sharing, and she was so proud of her polar bear son that he would go hunting and bring her back fish and the seal and blubber to keep her warm and to eat. She shared with her people in the village. The villagers took the food, but in time, the hunters grew very angry because Konnichiwa was much better at hunting than they were. And they were jealous. See, they were jealous. That's the feeling they got because Konnichiwa, the bear, was a better hunter than them. He was able to get more food for them. So they were jealous that the old woman had found such a good provider. They decided to kill Konnichiwa, but the children overheard the hunter's plan and ran to warn the old woman. Oh, they were not happy. The people were not happy that the hunters felt that way. The old woman went from house to house, pleading with the villagers to spare her clever young bear. Please do not kill Konnichiwa. He's my son. Do not take him away from me. She loved him so much that she felt like he was her son. This bear's getting too big and strong, he said dangerously. They said, he will kill him tomorrow. He will make a fine feast for the village, and his fur will keep us warm. Oh no. So they were thinking about the food they were going to get because Konnichiwa was big, and the fur that they were going to be able to use to make them warm. The old woman rushed back home. She told Konnichiwa that he had to leave at once, Go, she said, go quickly and do not come back. It's too dangerous for you here because the men, the hunters, are going to want to hunt you down and take you away. Crying bitterly, she begged him not to forget her. Please don't forget me. Always remember me. The children were so sad, and so was the old woman. She loved Konnichiwa. So Konnichiwa left. Sadly, the old woman and the children watched him disappear into the distance. They were saying, bye, Konnichiwa. Bye, come back and visit us. But they didn't want him to come back too because it could be dangerous. The men would surely get him. Now the old woman was alone again. From time to time, when she felt very lonely and hungry, she left her hut early in the morning and went very far, far away out in the ice. Then she called, Konnichiwa, 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 my son. Can you hear me? Please come. She called and called and called him. Do you think he's going to come back? Let's turn the page and see. She did not have to wait long before a big, big polar bear came running to meet her. He remembered her and he loved her and he did not hurt her. He gave her a big hug and she gave him a big hug. It was Konnichiwa, big and strong and sleek and glossy. She was so happy to see him. There's the big hug she gave him. The old woman always looked him over carefully, making sure that he had not been injured. Then Konnichiwa brought her salmon and seal. They ate some of it together, and the old woman took the rest home with her. So she had plenty of food that day or that week to eat fish and seal. Konnichiwa remembered her and still brought her food. This went on for many years, and up to this day, the Inuit tell the story of the faithful bear Konnichiwa and the old woman who brought him up. Remember, I asked you, do you think this is a tale, a story that somebody made up, or maybe it could be fictional, which is not true, or it could be factual, that this really happened, except maybe when the bear was little and she can keep him, but after a bear gets big and it's in the wild, I don't think it would remember a lady that took care of him. But it's a nice touching tale to the heart about a woman and a bear that were so close, and she loved him like a son. All right, boys and girls, thank you for being such good listeners, and I'm sure you can tell the story to one of your brothers or sisters, or to mom and dad or grandma or grandpa, and let them know what Konnichiwa was all about. Have a good rest of the day. Take care. Bye-bye. See you tomorrow.